Back in this country, the Occupy Wall Street protests are now in their 23rd day. Among other things, demonstrators are angry over social and financial inequalities and what they say is corporate greed. Our Susan Candiotti has been out in the streets of New York to listen to what the protesters have been saying. She found a woman you may not think is a typical camper and a college professor checking things out.
Eating a bowl of cereal after sleeping under the stars, this retiree and her teenage grandson took a bus from Detroit to camp out with Occupy Wall Street. Show me what this is like. You have this tarp.
This is home.
For a week, choosing to sleep on the ground under a blue tarp, mainly with young people in a public park. Why was it important for you to come here and bring your grandson?
Well, I felt the need to show support to the movement. The politicians apparently don't understand what people need.
How we doing?
Heshi Gorowitz isn't sleeping over with protesters.
You camping out here? Thank you, guys. You're doing a great service. Your generation, my generation, everybody. Keep it up, man.
The community college business professor, who also founded an upstate farm co-op, is just spending the day. He likes the mix of young and old, employed and unemployed, trying to build a consensus.
It's happier, it's bigger, it's more sophisticated, it's more real, it's more powerful than I ever could have imagined it. It's the 99%ers, it really is. Let's not focus on what divides us. Let's focus on what unites us. That's the way that we can bring about change.
I see this movement as a movement of movements.
Fordham University sociologist Heather Goutney says movements like Occupy Wall Street don't really need a leader.
I think it's really about grassroots democracy. I think it's about people trying to create ways of expressing themselves politically because they feel that the electoral channels are closed to them.
Change for a teacher, change for a retired grandmother worried about her grandson's future, all looking for signs that someone's listening.
So here we are on another busy weekend day here at Occupy Wall Street, one of the two locations where they are. People are working on signs. This, for example, is a new working group they've set up to provide spiritual counseling for people who are here. And if you pan off over in this direction, you can see that the park is fairly full, a little bit more than a normal day during the week, because, of course, it's the weekend day off. You have a lot of students here, and, of course, a lot of tourists coming by to check things out, Fred.
So, Susan, the weather forecast has rain coming the way of New York this week. Are you hearing anything from the protesters out there, whether they're going to soon be calling it quits, whether they're going to endure the weather, what?
Well, that's what a lot of observers are wondering. For example, a sociology professor who studies these movements is curious to see when the weather starts changing. I mean, it's 80 degrees today, whether people will have the same staying power or whether the movement might use more of the social media to spread its message. We'll have to see, but it certainly is busy on a beautiful day like today. And they're planning more marches for next week, but nothing is solidified just yet.
All right. Susan Candiotti, thanks so much, downtown Manhattan.